Hi, this is Paul for 8.5-bit, and we're here talking to Mitch about the upcoming Satellite Reign. Hi there, Mitch.
Hey, how you going?
Holding up. Now, Satellite Reigns would be considered a spiritual successor to a certain other game, which we may mention.
That's you can say it. It's our spiritual successor to Syndicate, Syndicate was, as we're
Official spiritual.
not official. No, it's Mike Diskett, who was the lead programmer, producer, all of that sort of stuff on Syndicate Wars, decided that he wanted to revisit after it hasn't really been touched for a long time. It's been a genre that's sort of been forgotten about, and we're all keen to see what we can do with it. We've got some good ideas.
So what new to the genre are you hoping to bring?
Well, we want to try and make it so that it's a little bit... A big thing is the simulated city of the world. So we want to make it so that it's an open world sort of thing, where rather than being spoon-fed missions one after another, you've just sort of got free reign, as you will, over the city. And the simulation is a big part of that. We want to have it so that rather than scripting all the events of the city and the civilians and the enemy encounters and all of that sort of thing, rather than having that all predetermined, for two reasons. One, that's really time-consuming to do, and we're a small team. And it would make for much more dynamic events to have all of that just simulated, so that what you do, the population of the city and the systems of the city itself react to how you're playing, so that it gives you a much more unique experience. And it's something that I think was intended to be in the old Syndicate games, but given the restraints of the time, it was not something that was really feasible. So,
if it's a more open design, what's the overall drive and motivation and goal in the game then?
Well, the motivation for the players is to take the power from, because it's a world where pretty much government and everything is in the pocket of mega corporations. And so the goal of the player is to basically take that control from the mega corporations. And we want to leave that morally ambiguous, I guess, whether it's you're doing it because you want that power and you want to take their throne, or because you want to hand back power and give people their freedom again, or whatever.
I'll be going for fascism. Sorry.
That seems to be a popular choice.
Will we be able to see inside buildings?
Seeing inside buildings is something that won't be in the initial goal of the game, because being a small team, we've got to be very smart with our time and where we put it. But it is something that we've talked about at length, and if our funding allows it, then it's something that we're going to be looking into.
Well, I always liked the idea in Syndicate that you couldn't see inside because you're seeing from the top of the city. You couldn't actually see inside a building.
Yeah, well, it's not really something that a lot of people have asked for anyway, but a few people have. It's an interesting sort of thing, so we're looking into it anyway.
Fun. So at the moment, we're still running the Kickstarter at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, it's got, I think, 9 days left. I have to check. I've lost track of everything since I've been here.
9 days, or potentially less once I've edited this together. So go check out the Kickstarter. It's going all right last I saw?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. We're confident that we're going to make it. Ideally, we would like to get a few stretch goals in there. But overall, yeah, it's looking pretty good.
How are you finding the Kickstarter journey at the moment?
Time-consuming. Yeah, I mean, we knew that it was going to be a fairly involved process, but we didn't quite anticipate just how much time it was going to soak up, because we get so many messages, and we really want to be as transparent as we can, and we try to get back to everyone. We're constantly reading the comments and talking to media outlets like yourself to try and get the word out there, and yeah, it's been an interesting experience and quite cool, but yeah, very, very time consuming.
So I'm just on a slight tangent. What's your own background in games?
My own background, I'm an animator. So I started, I studied in Brisbane at a private college there, and I got into games. My first game I ever worked on was Viva Pinata Party Animals.
I love Viva Pinata!
I bet you liked the Rare game, though.
They're all good.
Yeah. No, it was a great game to work on. It was fun as an animator, especially given the cartoony nature of it all. So yeah, and that's where that was at Chrome Studios. That's where I met a few of the guys at 5 Live Studios. So from there on, after Brisbane used to be sort of the Australia's big game development hub, and I got in there just as it's at its peak, because I think at that point across all of its studios, Chrome had about 400 or so staff. It was pretty big, especially considering
you didn't know this guy.
we know Chrome as well. It was a big place.
It was a big place.
Very big place. And so, yeah, and I got in there around about that time, and just in time to see it all sort of decline.
Strap yourself in and just get ready for the big Brisbane game fall, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, yeah, after Chrome went down, I did some independent work, did contract work, and I went to Sydney to work on LA Noire and at Team Bondi, and I did some other contract work, worked on Darksiders 2, and a few other bits and pieces. Eventually ended up at Sega Studios Australia, which is where I met back up again with former colleagues from Chrome and now 5 Lives. Got back together again, and yes, then Sega was the last big one in Brisbane, and now they're on their way out as well. So that was really the catalyst that got us, that Mike came up to us and was like, all right, I've got this idea. I want to bring back Syndicate in our own little way. So
well, it's a good time for it because everyone was very excited by the new Syndicate game until we saw it and played it. And it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it actually because it was refused classification in Australia, as I understand.
I didn't notice.
Well, yeah, probably. But yeah, my understanding is it's a good game. It's just not Syndicate. It's just not what people want from the Syndicate. So yeah, and that coupled with the recent success of everyone's having with Kickstarter. Well, not everyone's having with Kickstarter, but it's made itself a really obviously viable way to because you've got this weird midsection of games development where you've got the really, really small 1 to 2 people team indie games where they just sort of work in the garage or whatever with a really small budget and they make awesome games. And then you've got the big budget publisher, millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars making games. And then there's this section in the middle that up until Kickstarter really made itself known to developers, that the games in the sort of $500,000 to a few million range, which not many people have that sort of money in their bank accounts. So it's sort of made that possible. So combined with everything in Brisbane collapsing and that making itself available, yeah, that was sort of what drove us to
Kickstarter helping us rebuild from tragedy. Okay. I think we'll draw that to an end now. So yeah, go check out the Kickstarter for Satellite Rain. It's Syndicate style, not officially associated, but I'll always joke about it and make people feel uncomfortable. Thanks for joining us, Mitch.
No problem. Thank you for talking to me.
Hey, we'll catch you later, guys. Bye.